Hemisphere. And with a Super League record crowd on hand, who can argue with that? It's the Bradford Bulls against the Leeds Rhinos. Well, it was a memorable night at Wigan. It ended with the Warriors upsetting the form book and beating St Helens. On Sunday, there are 4 more games. Salford Huddersfield, Widnes Warrington, Castleford Hull and Wakefield London. Highlights and reports, Sky Sports News on Sunday evening. The table then, and the Saints have lost ground in the race for Old Trafford. And in terms of the competition, a win for the Bulls is what's needed here. The Rhinos are 5 points clear of St Helens. They will be 7 clear of Bradford if they win. What a crowd, and Leeds supporters playing their full part. 24,020 to be precise is Super League's record weekly attendance, and it is really threatened here. And it's live on Sky Sports from Odsal. The Bulls top, Leeds second last year, both riding high again. This is one of the key fixtures of the season, and Leeds know it. Out they come, the leaders. Leeds fans know that the Rhinos beat the Bulls 26-18 at Headingley over Easter. So they go in search of a first ever Super League home and away double over their closest rivals. The win at Easter was significant for Tony Smith because Brian, his elder brother, did more than most to revolutionise the Bulls in Super League in 1996. Fantastic crowd inside Odsal tonight. It really is a theatre on an occasion like this. An absolute cauldron. And they are waiting the appearance of the Bulls, and here they come. Led by Robbie Paul, despite the fact that he starts the match on the bench. What an atmosphere. What a game. Steve-O, who can argue that it is the biggest match in the Northern Hemisphere?
It certainly appears that way. Massive crowd, you've already heard the tension, you can feel it. It's absolutely wonderful out there. The pitch is in perfect condition. It was a bit sticky late this afternoon, but that will not interfere with one heck of a clash. And what a big night for this fella, Carl Kirkpatrick. Big night, let's hope he completes everything, make sure that both sides are given the required 10 metres. So much talent out there tonight. This could be one of the big games of Super League's history.
Just one home appearance in their previous 5 for the Bradford Bulls. Brian Noble, their coach, hoping home advantage plays its part as it did at Headingley over Easter when Leeds beat the Bulls 26-18. Leeds get us underway in the shape of the boot of Kevin Sinfield, and underneath the kick-off on his own line is Joe Vangenaar, and the chase magnificent, but the power of Vangenaar there for all to see.
There's a Leeds player down, I don't know, can't quite see who it is. It's
Ryan Bailey.
Bailey has got a big hit. Well, a big fella just ran right over the top of him. Interesting, you know, yesterday, Eddie, remember when Connolly actually stole the ball? That set the scene for Wigan to control the match, and things like that can just twist it in the opening seconds. This is it. Bang! The elbow was lifted slightly from Vangenaar, not seen by the officials. They said it's okay.
And so we've reached the last tackle of the first set of 6, and the ball is drilled through and it's bobbling its way past Calderwood. He does well though, he gets out about 5 metres off the line before he's tackled. Quickly down to Bill, news of Bailey.
Eddie, I don't think Barry McDermott was anticipating getting involved this early on, but he's on the sidelines at the moment, ready to go on, and Bailey is still struggling to get to his feet, and he's in quite a lot of trouble there. He obviously got that all wrong when he went in on Joe Vangenaar there, and he's leaving the field now.
Meanwhile, a head-high shot on Chris Feather by Stuart Fielden is picked up by referee Carl Kirkpatrick.
Right into the throat. It's a big night for this fella, the man with the whistle.
It's a fiery opening.
Well, we saw last night. Blood and guts, wasn't it? Boy, that was a tough one. I think this is even going to be tougher.
The Bulls have Withers returning at fullback. Then it goes Reardon, Johnson, Harpy, Vainicolo, Price and Deacon. Forwards Vanganar, Pratt and Fielden, Swan and Peacock in the second row, with Lee Radford operating at loose forward. Just a little tinker by Brian Noble. Paul, the captain, on the bench with Anderson, Langley and Parker. And Brian Noble is the coach. Now the Rhinos, Mathers, Calderwood, McKenna senior bye. Maguire returns to the starting lineup alongside Duneman. It's Bailey, well it was, Diskin, McDonald, Ferner, Feather and Sinfield, the skipper. And Burrow, McDermott, who's now on, poaching, and Lauer TT, the coach, Tony Smith. This is Duneman for Leeds Rhinos, just 12 metres out, now 10 metres away as he's turned on his back by the tackle from Jamie Peacock. Matt Diskin is there, they go right, and it's a kick from Sinfield high, looking to test out Vainicolo, but the Volcano comes up with the ball.
Sheer quality, sheer strength, but a good build-up there by the Leeds Rhinos. Superb combination from the loose forward Kevin Sinfield and Andrew Duneman. Look at that, put under a lot of pressure, but the big fella says get out of the way.
Leslie Vainicolo, 14 tries in Super League, just one less than Danny Maguire.
This is the man that has to lead them. We saw Craig Smith last night really play out of his skin, and Joe Vanganar certainly had a very, very good second half at St Helens last week. They have to get that superiority in the forwards. They know that. They've been lacking it throughout this season.
That was a terrific chase from Stuart Fielden. It halted Richie Mathers in his tracks. This now is Marcus Bye, and he's tackled by Leon Price. They're in centre field, the Rhinos, with MacDonald. And MacDonald does well to offload to Sinfield, who goes wide and looks for McKenna. And McKenna will cut in field, but the tackle comes in right on the halfway line. Barry McDermott's the dummy half. He finds Chris Feather. Feather drives it forward. It's again a little bit high from Fielden.
Not
into
a little.
The Adams apple.
Not a little, it was a lot.
Diskin to Danny Maguire. What a stage for Maguire tonight.
What a tackle as well. They get him right into the face. Interesting, you know, Brian Noble selecting a hooker, Carl Pratt. He's the type of man that can instill a lot more confidence and a lot more fire. The big fella's on again. Big Barry's put a hit on him.
And now Leslie Vainicolo gets the penalty, and Vainicolo applauding Barry McDermott, or was he applauding the referee?
Either way, he's got what he needed, and that was a penalty. Little doubt about it. Sinfield was very slow to release. Seems to be a problem with McKenna, who's holding that left arm.
Well, they've lost Ryan Bailey early, and a problem for McKenna. And here is Fielden for the Bradford Bulls. Carl Pratt in at hooker tonight, and he finds Shontaine Harpy, who tries to make ground through two, and he does make ground, but he's eventually hauled down. Pratt again, the dummy half. Here is Paul Deacon, who attacked the St Helens defence last week and did so well in the second half. This is Vanganar, halted by Chris Feather, who's all over his back. Carl Pratt will go down the narrow side, then he'll bring Vainicolo into it. This is Lee Radford.
Good job, Forner went through there. Half a break, the big fella's on his way to the line.
He dumps it back to Radford, and Radford is halted again by Stern Leeds defence, and that's great stuff from Leeds. That's the last tackle, and they pushed him back fully 7 metres then.
Surely the kick into the in-goal area.
It's with Deacon, and there is the little kick sideways, bounced over the top of Duneman, gobbled up though by Chris Feather.
I think you'll find it's a hooker there, Matt Diskin, that got back. He was in the sweeping role, as they should as well when they're in their own danger zone and their own quarter. But you just get the feeling that the Bradford pack tonight, they got a sniff of it in that second half against St Helens.
Oh, great ball from Ferner to Sinfield. Well, would you like to select the man of the match tonight? I wouldn't, because the stars out there galore. It falls to Andy Wilson and the men from the Rugby League media. Andy, early thoughts?
Well, the return of Michael Withers from injury should make a big difference for Bradford. They always look a much calmer team when he's around at the back. But it's these fascinating battles at standoff and hooker where the game could be won and lost tonight. Leon Price and Danny Maguire at standoff. And at hooker, we've got Matt Diskin against Carl Pratt, of course, a former Leeds teammate.
Thanks, Andy. We saw a forward pass.
A mile forward. How on earth has the official not picked that up? No indication of the momentum rule. You can see the shape of their hands. It was always going forward, and how on earth did the officials miss that?
They've actually given Bradford the possession on the last tackle because of the knock-on down the right-hand side.
Yeah, but they cheated another 15 metres.
Yes, they did. Reardon in centre field. On the run is Paul Johnson. Whoa, what a hit from MacDonald and David Ferner. Deacon over the top, looking for the touchline on the far side, and he finds it.
Good thinking as well.
Well, the gauntlet is thrown down by both sides here, Steve-O. The hits have been hard.
Well, we knew it would be. And it's this fella, Paul Deacon, that makes sure the kicking game, as you've already mentioned, Eddie, last week, he really did get back to his best form, mainly due to the fact that Brian Noble allowed him a little bit more latitude. I've been calling for quite some time to make sure that he asked the question of the opposition defence. He certainly did that.
McKenna, I think, has gone off and poaching's come on. Let's check it out with Bill.
You're right, Eddie. McKenna just leaving the field at the Leeds end of the field, and Willie Poaching comes on again. So that's 2 Leeds changes, enforced Leeds changes already, and only 8 minutes gone. But thankfully for them, Ryan Bailey at least is on his feet. He's walking up and down the touchline, and obviously is shaking off that big knock he got earlier on. But McKenna is holding that left arm, and that doesn't look too clever for Leeds.
Well, it doesn't. That certainly isn't in the game plan for Tony Smith, Steve-O, to have to make 2 changes, 1 in the very first tackle and 1 in the 8th minute of this match.
Yeah, we'll be disappointed, of course. It doesn't sense the situation. Though I do know that Tony Smith has got the tactics right at the moment. He's keeping the big star, and the big star is Danny Maguire, out of the action early. It's Duneman that's taking all the responsibility, but there is the man in question, Danny Maguire. What a chase and what a tackle.
Yes, Michael Withers dumped on his back by young Danny Maguire, and here now comes Lee Radford. Tackled by Diskin low and McDermott up at top.
Well, not only that, when he went to ground, he put the forearm right into the face. You can see that Leeds trying to turtle the opposition, trying to turn them around every time they're involved in a tackle. Good offload.
Great offload. Pratt then finds Vinacolo in centre field, and he'll take them on up the middle, and he gets it away brilliantly to Deacon, who goes underneath one challenge, and this is Radford. Radford, though, tackled by Duneman. Could have been a second effort. The referee gives them benefit. This is Leon Price then. Offside.
Well, why don't they give the advantage?
Well, he did, and he thought the Price was going down, and Leeds are lucky because Deacon was scampering away.
Well, that's amazing. Leon Price set off from the dummy half position. He's not stopped. How on earth can he give that? He must have him for offside, not getting the required 10 metres, because the tackle was not completed. Leon Price was still moving.
Yes, it was offside. He allowed the advantage to go until the tackle was effected, or at least the defender touched the man in possession, Price.
That's all right if it had gone to ground.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. But
he should have played on.
He offloaded. It could have been 6. It might be 2 for Bradford. Paul Deacon lining up the shot here. Scored in each of the last 12 matches. Tries in 5 of them. But here he is now with his boot. 5 from 5 goals against St Helens last week. Paul Deacon, Great Britain international. Centre field, about 25 metres away from the posts. Should be 2 points for Bradford. And it is.
Should have been 6 though. Brian Noble will be very disappointed with that. Well, there's the man that got the 2 points. He took on the defence last week at St Helens. He's obviously doing the same thing, but it looks as though we're going to get the same from Leon Price. Always likes to get off from a flyer, but early in the game, Leon Price put himself in the dummy half position. That really should have produced a try.
Sinfield gets the game in motion again after the 2-pointer from Paul Deacon. Here comes Vangenaar. Phil Clark on the sideline. What a start for this match, with injuries galore already for Leeds.
Eddie, yeah, I think it's fair to say that probably the Bradford side have made the better start of it, but the confidence of both sides is sufficient that either team could come from behind, even in the 70th minute, and win this game. I just think the speed and intensity with which Bradford are playing this game It's just too much for Leeds at the moment. But hey, Sheffield side's hang on in there, and that's what Leeds have got to do right now.
Here come Bradford with Price. Great run from Vainicolo, got them into this position, and from Lee Radford. It's Carl Pratt at dummy half, and Leon Price is hurt now. It's been a bruising encounter already. It's Fielden and McDermott and Duneman, and Leon Price has hurt his ribs by the looks. This is Carl Pratt, slides the kick in, picked up by Calderwood, who is immediately barreled by Shontaine Harpy.
Pretty tough take as well. That's good defence. Harpy coming in, Fielden adding the weight. But Leon Price, is it a cracked rib or is it just the rib cartilage? Either way, it is extremely painful.
The physio has already signalled to the bench she needs some assistance out there. Meanwhile, here come Leeds with McDonald, and over the top it goes to Sinfield, and he is grabbed by Vangenaar and dumped to the ground.
Great skills there from the big fella Wayne McDonald. Got halfway through the gap and then offloaded.
Good tackle by Logan Swan on David Furner. Leon Price continues to receive treatment. That's a problem for the Bulls. Maguire with the kick downfield under pressure from Peacock. A wicked bounce, but then it bounces nicely for Withers. And Michael Withers brings it back to the Leeds defence. Referee calls time off. And I think there's a bit of blood over there. And it's Michael Withers, I think, that the referee wants cleaning up.
Meanwhile, Leon Price has been assisted from the field of play.
Well, that's definitely ribs. And he comes off, so it allows Robbie Paul to come on. His ankle is still pretty sore as Michael Withers comes to the side to get the bloody nose stemmed. What a big hit it was by Diskin in the ribs.
Got the shoulder well and truly into the rib cage. By the way, it looked in discomfort, though I must say there's very little you can do with it. It's not an injury that you can either strap or whatever. You just got to go through the pain barrier, simple as that.
Shift through was by Leslie Vainicolo, picked up by young Richie Mathers, who's outstanding this year, and Mathers is on the break. And eventually he gets clattered to the ground, and that looked high from Withers. Maguire from dummy half. The little magician for Leeds, scampering away from them. Offside against Bradford now, bang in front of the sticks.
Good thinking as well by the standoff. Quick play the ball, but what a wonderful sidestepping run from the fullback, Richard Mathers. And there you see, Maguire took full advantage. He knew that as soon as he made contact, Carl Kirkpatrick, the official, had already said, well, they were on offside. Never made any chance to make the 10, but look at this. The balance of this guy, in and out, swings it. See how he just swapped the ball at the right moment. Carl Pratt had to get back.
Great run from Richie Mathers. Tony Smith, earpiece in, watching from behind the sticks to the right-hand side as Kevin Sinfield lines this kick up. A try in 5 goals against Salford last Friday for the Leeds captain, and a try in 2 of 3 visits to Walsall last year. And there are the Leeds fans. They'll give him some support and some encouragement if this goes over, and it does. The scores are level here at Odsal. It's Bradford 2, Leeds 2. Sean McRae has joined us all the way from Hull on the eve of his big match tomorrow at Castleford. Sean, quality. That's the only thing you can say that we've seen on Sky Sports this weekend so far.
Yeah, we saw a fantastic game last night, Eddie, and I think, you know, we're going to see a great game here tonight. The ingredients are there, of course. Both big forward packs, plenty of ability to break the line, plenty of ability to score tries. And I think really tonight, Eddie, the battle is power of Bradford versus the speed and agility of the Leeds little men. And I think if Brian Noble's come up with a way of controlling people like Rob Burrows and Danny Maguire and Richie Mathers at the back, Mark Calderwood, Marcus by his pace, that will go a long way to them winning. If Tony Smith's been able to come up with a way of stopping Bradford's roll on with their big physical players coming through the middle of the ruck and just on the edges of the ruck, and that will go a long way to Leeds winning this game. But it's going to be a fantastic game. Just one thing of interest I picked up before the kickoff, the Bradford forward pack were out warming up about 10 minutes before anyone else came out, and they've certainly started that way as if they mean business.
And they do mean business, because there's the knock-on from Barry McDermott.
Yeah, big mistake there, especially in your own quarter. Just saying, Sean, is that Carl Pratt was also geeing them up. You know, they've missed Jimmy Lowe's, there's no doubt about that. And Carl Pratt's the type of personality
He's lost it.
to lift them.
Shontaine Harpy has lost it now.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're right, Steve, and by all reports on Carl Pratt, he's a very, very infectious person in terms of his enthusiasm, and he gets there and you see his body language, and he gesticulates with his hands and his arms, and he really revs them up, and it didn't surprise me to see him starting at 9 tonight and bringing Robbie off the bench.
Well, the fact that Carl Pratt is up for this is no surprise. He's a former Leeds Rhino. He was allowed to leave, of course, by Darryl Powell last year, and since he has been here, he's won just about every honour in the game. And he loves to put one over his former club. Sinfield, meanwhile, is dropped to the ground.
On top of that, it brings a lot of fire to the side. You need somebody like that really just fires your mates, go forward, give it to them all the time. Duneman's involved very early. It's obviously a tactic by Tony Smith. We have yet to see Danny Maguire really coming to the attacking position.
Well, here he is now, Maguire, and there's a little chip over the top, but it's easy that for Vainicolo. It gives the big man the opportunity to go to Willie Poaching, the substitute, who's on for Chris McKenna. Remember, McDermott is on for the injured Ryan Bailey, so there have been disruptions to the Leeds plan here in the opening quarter of an hour.
Well, the one thing that has surprised me, that they've been targeting Leeds, Leslie Vainicolo's wing, and we've seen over the last 8-10 months maybe the improvement of Vainicolo's positioning for the kicks. I'm surprised he even put pressure on it.
Anderson is on for Bradford. He played the ball there to Robbie Paul. This is Peacock, and Peacock got away from Senior, couldn't get away from Sinfield. Paul will drill it into the middle to Pratt, and Pratt will hoik it downfield. Mathers is after this, and Richie Mathers claims it behind his own line. Has work to do, and it's a great chase from Deacon.
Wonderful high kick as well. But
great work again.
The sad thing about it, there was only Deacon there. They were very slow, the rest of the players. The Bulls have got to be sharper than that.
And this now is Ali Lauatiti. We get our first look at the man that Gary Hetherington has described as the best Super League signing of all time.
Well, he's certainly got the ability to offload, one of the best in the game. He'll be a little bit ring rusty. Take a while for him to get into the swing of things.
Duneman's kick downfield. And Reardon allows it to bounce, and here is Sinfield, and this is Senior. Senior will score for Leeds.
He'll go to the screen.
Well, it's absolutely critical that you take this football on the full.
And the ground in here with the
at any time, forget about what make of or brand of the football it is. You cannot take the risk. He wants to see if they're onside. There's a few in front, isn't there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that I can see.
But Senior's behind the ball.
Senior is behind the ball there.
Now where is Sinfield?
Does he give? You've got to see with any of those players in front. Do they stand back the 10?
Well,
yes, they do.
No, Sinfield here, who gets this, he was in front of the kicker, I think.
Yeah, but was it 10 metres? And yes, he was in front of the kicker. It looks as though it's going to be given. Yep, no doubt about the grounding, but as you say, Sinfield was in front. But did he give the opportunity? Did he touch it?
Well, apparently the view is that Andrew Duneman, who put the kick up,
put them all
onside. If it's a try, that'll be the case, and a try it is. Keith Senior with the try here. Such an important first touchdown for the Leeds Rhinos from Keith Senior, who got a try against Salford last week to end a 3-game blank spell.
Isn't it amazing, you know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, Eddie, we didn't see any bombs at all. We've seen 5 already, and you really can't make a mistake like that. That is not in the book. Stuart Reardon should have swallowed this. Now then, did Duneman put them all onside? I'm not so sure. I am not so sure that Duneman has actually put them onside. We'll see from the wide shot. This is the kicker. I don't think he does. There's the man that's run. Duneman's behind him. Yes, he's behind him. This is a controversial try. The crowd are booing. They know, they've seen it on the big screen also. It was only a matter of a metre. This is the attempt from Sinfield.
Yes, Sinfield looking for the extras. He just shaved the post the wrong side. So it's Bradford Bulls 2, Leeds Rhinos 6. The try is given by Keith Senior. And the video referee, Steve Cross, says that Andrew Duneman ran forward and put everyone on side. But I'm with you, Steve-O. Sinfield was in front of the kicker and Duneman never got in front of Sinfield. Controversy again.
Well,
but still,
they're only human, Eddie, but it looked that way to me. Duneman just held off at the vital moment.
he didn't hair his way down.
No, he didn't. He just trotted through, and Sinfield was about a metre in front. Another controversial decision by the officials, and this really will have stirred up this Bulls outfit. They needed to be. They were in total control of that. But it always gets down when these big, heavy games come along. You've got to take your chances.
And that's what Leeds have done. And here is Lauatiti. And he gets the ball away, but it was not on, really. Ali Lauatiti, the Michael Jordan of rugby league, they call him, for handling skills like that, but impossible, that situation.
Yeah, I don't know where the knock-on came, though. There didn't appear to be any knock-on by a Leeds player then. He offloaded it, and it was the big fella, Paul Anderson, that touched it next.
Let's get down to Phil Clark.
Eddie, I was talking to one or two of the Leeds backroom staff as a scrum goes against head. That's a rarity in rugby league before the match, and they said that they upset Keith Senior last night by saying that I thought Martin Gleeson was the best centre in the country at the moment. Well, Keith wants to prove me wrong tonight, and he's got that first controversial try. Look for a big game from him tonight.
Well, the Bradford Bulls fans will be saying thanks very much, Phil, because here comes Kevin Sinfield.
But that's a sin, Eddie. In this modern day, the way you feed the pack, to get one against the head, it's ludicrous.
Chris Feather. There's obviously a big push on at the scrum by the Leeds pack.
It was a blindside prop that just struck for it.
Duneman, he goes wide and he finds Poaching. Poaching gets there for the second Leeds try.
No problem at all.
Willie Poaching off the bench earlier than Tony Smith would have wanted. And he got a try in a 22-21 defeat here last September. He knows his way to the try line, does Willie Poaching at Odsal.
Well, this is the controversial loss against the head. They both had several opportunities to get it out. Very, very rare indeed. But this is not rare. Poaching knows all about going through. Shontaine Harpy, he went high. Watch this. Go high on the fella. He should have gone low for the leg straight away, but what a great effort by Poaching.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Super stuff. You got to hit them low. If they're near to the line, yes. But it was about 5 metres out. Momentum took him there. Nothing controversial about that. That was superb play by this fella.
Willie Poaching, the Samoan international, captain of Samoa in the World Cup of 2000. And that is an absolutely priceless try for Leeds. It gives them a 10-2 advantage. This kick to come from Kevin Sinfield. 3 goals against the Bradford Bulls at Easter for Kevin Sinfield at Headingley. He's come up with 1 penalty goal tonight. This is his 3rd attempt. Another difficult kick though, way out on the far touchline. This has got chances. This has got 2 points. Bradford 2, Leeds Rhinos 12.
Super conversion at a vital moment. The first try to Senior was controversial, should not have been given. Video referee disagreed with my comments. But he's the man in charge, and there's the man who has stretched the lead to 10 points. Willie Poaching does it all so often, running out wide. Big and strong, hard to stop. It's going to be a big ask now for the Bulls to dig themselves out of this hole.
Well, they nearly dug themselves out of the hole at Knowsley Road last week. They gave St Helens a good start. But Leeds, Sean McRae, they really do look up for this, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do. You know, you need a bit of luck to win games, don't you? And, You know, sometimes decisions go for you, sometimes they go against you, but certainly the ability of Willie Poaching to play on the centre would have been questioned by a lot of people in terms of his lateral speed and the fact that he's had to come on and play, probably going to play the best part of 80 minutes now. And, you know, you see him more as a power player, and of course that try is a great example of power personified. But I just think we've had a situation again where we see it often in games where one side dominates possession for 5 or 6 minutes and the fatigue factor comes in defensively. Bradford just don't seem to have the ball to me for the last 5 or 6 minutes. They desperately need to get it back.
It's with Lauatiti because Carl Pratt put the elbow in the face of Marcus Bai, gave Leeds a penalty, easy yards for them, and this is Diskin.
And I just get the feeling that Leeds haven't started to open up yet, and that's the reason why he's thrown out Rob Burrow out there.
Duneman almost through. Tackle is now completed. He got away from Swan. He couldn't get away from Deacon. There is Rob Burrow. Here is Danny Maguire. It goes over the top of Lauatiti to David Furner. And Furner spins in the tackle as he's grounded by Jamie Peacock. This is Diskin. Here is Maguire. Lovely kick to the corner. Senior was taken out. It's a goal line dropout.
Wonderful pressure. Maguire looked as though he was going to pass it. Johnson certainly put Senior off balance, as you can see there. Reardon got back in time. He had to be. I mentioned the fact that it surprised me that Leeds were attacking, remember, the big fella Leslie Vainicolo, when really they should have pinpointed this fella. And the first time that they did, Reardon allowed it to bounce. Result, Senior try. The tactics have changed.
Oh, Mathers! He was going backwards, and it's a knock-on. Well, they go to him, the captain, Kevin Sinfield, says, never mind, forget about it now.
It's a simple mistake, but a vital one too.
He's furious with himself.
Well, he is, because he knows he's done the wrong thing. As soon as that ball was coming towards him, he just had a little glance to see who was coming to get involved in the tackle.
Let's get some news on Leon Price, Bill.
Bulls look likely to have to be without Leon for the rest of the game. It turns out that Dr. Stevenson was correct. He's popped a rib cartilage. Amazing.
Ah, he's a medical man, my friend. This is Anderson. Here goes Carl Pratt again. Goes wide to Logan Swan. Pratt waits at dummy half on the third tackle. Finds Deacon. Deacon then to Robbie Paul, who pops it to Michael Withers. Withers taking on Senior. And certainly Phil Clark has stung Keith Senior with his comment last night that Martin Gleeson is maybe the best centre in Great Britain at the moment. Keith Senior's on a mission here. And so now is Anderson.
And the Bulls are certainly looking for that. They've got to make sure it's a good kick. They've got to try to get consecutive sets of 6 here.
Deacon wide, looking for Vainicolo. Calderwood clutches it out of the air. Penalty. Penalty, says the referee. He shouted, play the ball.
Yep.
And they pulled him over the whitewash.
Well, they just weren't there by Calderwood. Just got to... Well, he was about to get in. Was he still moving? That's what this fella, Vainicolo, said, that he was still moving. Well, the rub of the green is going the Rhinos' way. But at 12-2, Tony Smith will be more than happy.
You know, the success the Bradford Bulls have had in the summer hurts Leeds Rhinos more than any other club in the business. 5 trophies to Odsal since 1996. Just one, the Challenge Cup in 1999 to Leeds, although Leeds did contest the very first grand final at Old Trafford in 1998 when they lost narrowly to Wigan. This is Duneman playing well, and he finds Calderwood.
Just got to tighten the defence a little bit, Bradford. There's quite a few of them just going a little bit too high. That look forward certainly has been picked up by the touch judge on that far side.
I think the crowd got the Bradford Bulls that, Steve. I'm not sure that that wasn't just a flat pass. You have to look at his hands.
And we'll see it here. Yep.
Well, at that
Just
angle, it looked forward. But
yeah. That's why they don't go to the screen for forward passes, Eddie, because it's very, very difficult. But the touch judge was in a good position. We lambast the officials if they don't pick it up.
Absolutely.
And when we do, you lambast them.
No, I just wasn't 100% sure it was forward.
The officials were, and that's enough.
Vainicolo for Bradford, over halfway.
Well, he's been about the only player in the Bradford side that's created any sort of problems.
Robbie Paul's creating a problem here, but that's good defence in the end from Feather.
Well, that should be a penalty. He was holding him down.
Deacon, Diskin with the tackle.
The one thing that is missing from this Bradford attack is the amount of dummy runners making it happen. And that is not making it happen. That was a foolish pass.
From Robbie Paul, and it was dropped on by Willie Poaching of Leeds. This is Richard Mathers now.
They're getting to a point where you can see there that they'd overrun the ball. They're getting to a point where they're launching their attack, but there's no one trying to confuse the Leeds defence. It's all right getting it out wide, but you've got to be going forward as well.
There's hardly an inch to breathe in this. You've got to have electric, quick thought to play in this match at this level. That's a great ball. Oh, and Sinfield, Calder would overrun it. The pass from Duneman wasn't forward on that occasion.
I think Duneman was looking to see that Poaching was coming short, or was it Sinfield that came? And
do you see that angle? That made it look like a forward pass, but it wasn't.
Went over the whitewash. Controlling things out there. There's a skipper, Kevin Sinfield, directing the attack very, very impressively.
I think, Steve, you just get to see a chance in the last few minutes. Maybe the game turning slightly in Bradford's favour. They're getting a little bit of field position, some better quality possession, and maybe one or two of the Leeds players just beginning to fatigue slightly as we approach the half-hour mark. And the last 10 minutes here now, a big question mark here for the Leeds side. Both these teams set very high standards for themselves, and they really want to live up to those in this closing half.
It's Bradford who have the first opportunity in the last 10 minutes to examine the defence with Peacock. And Peacock gets to within 5 metres of the line. Now this is a chance for the Bulls. It's Robbie Paul. He went one way, came back the other. Michael Withers. Withers! So close. Last one. Paul to Carl Pratt. And there's the kick wide. It's looking for Vainicolo. He'll pat it back to Shontaine Harpy. Back it goes to Vainicolo. He flicks it infield and over the top and out.
Well, the ball played the man. He's not happy, Brian Noble, over a lot of things. Bradford think that they've got head and ball, but I don't think that the man actually went for the football here.
Wait for me.
I think Duneman was just getting himself involved, and it wasn't the last, so it will be the turnover. Brian Noble far from impressed. I think Brian was looking for the kick a little bit after that. Once they got it out onto that wing, maybe there should have been someone there to help.
Leeds Rhinos top of the table and in great form. They've won the last 3 and 11 of 12 in Super League to top the table. And the Bulls know that victory here will open up a 7-point gap between them, and the Bulls have to go back to Headingley in August.
The one thing about the Rhinos, that their confidence to get over the advantage line, to give them into a position where that when they do come to the last in the kick, they really are turning the Bulls around.
Duneman. Swan was high.
More of a grab than a swing, but it was right into the face. It was right under the neck, wasn't it? Well, we've seen a lot of this last night, and it seems to have continued here. I was critical of the official last night, Mr. Smith, Ian that is. I think they had something like 15 head-eye tackles. Not one mention of bringing the two captains to have a little bit of a natter. I think we'll find that Carl Kirkpatrick will be doing that if this continues. But these are good tactics. Slow it all down. Take the 2 on offer.
Well, Duneman and Mr. Kirkpatrick having a smile about the penalty award.
They look very much alike, don't they?
Who do?
Duneman and Mr. Kirkpatrick. Same profile.
I think somebody ought to ring the opticians for you first thing Monday morning.
We'll take a look.
Sinfield lining up this kick. And he's got another 2 points to the Leeds total. Bradford 2, Leeds 14. There's Carl Kirkpatrick.
Stay tidy, fellas.
There's Andrew Duneman. The likeness is striking.
It is. Same nose, same eyebrows, same chin.
A look-alike competition, and I don't think, Sean, that Mr. Kirkpatrick and Mr. Duneman would be twins.
I wouldn't be picking them that way, Eddie. That's for sure. But,
I didn't say they were twins. I said they look alike.
yeah, well, they might see the same. But it's an enthralling game, isn't it? I mean, it's just again, it's a case of I think Bradford just not having enough possession, particularly in the second half of this of the first 40 minutes, and you know they'd really like to go in at half time with a try on the board.
Sean, it's surprising me that Bradford, they're getting plenty of width, but they're just not getting the forwards going in the middle and sucking in the Leeds defence. They're having no problems with it, have they?
No, they're not. Bradford play a sort of a game where they, you know, obviously they like to dominate physically, and they like to bend the line or break the line, and then everybody tends to play off that. And I think if they were just to push up a little bit more, they might actually create a few more options for the ball players like Robbie Paul, for example. And I'm just not sure that, you know, they've done that well enough. And maybe Brian Noble will.
That's easy. That was easy for David Furner. But why didn't he feed Maguire?
I think he was just quite happy to take possession. When you're leading 14-2, there's no real reason to force the pass. Poor kick. Should have been into the deck, right on the deck. There's no chance that the opposition can get to it. Can bounce all over the joint.
Great offload from McDonald to Burrow. And Rob Burrow trying to burrow his way through the line. Oh, and then slammed into the ground by Paul Johnson. Marcus Bai waits at dummy half. Comes down the short side.
Good work. Quick play the ball. The catch in Bradford.
This is Burrow. This is out Lauatiti. Finds Diskin, who finds Duneman. And wide it goes to Poaching. And that went backwards off Shontaine Harpy, says Mr. Kirkpatrick. Bradford breathe a sigh of relief.
Well, can they counter-attack? They really have to get their forwards shifting forward.
Langley, dummy half. Parker.
This flat attack from Bradford is not working.
Remember last week, Bradford trailed 24-6 at one stage against St Helens, and they got back to within 5 points at the end. They so nearly got a famous win. But there'll have to be a dramatic improvement from Bradford here because Leeds are out-muscling them.
Yeah, with St Helens, obviously they were tiring in that second half. I think that was proved with the performance last night. Not taking anything away from the Wigan win, it was outstanding. But Leeds, they'll go the full 80. Don't worry about that.
Kick over the top. Mathers picks it up. And Mathers will counter for the Rhinos. 10 good metres made. Danny Maguire at dummy half. Keith Senior. Good strong run again from Senior.
You know, make that point at 14-2. They look to be in control of this game, and I still don't think that Leeds have got out of third gear.
Marcus Bai didn't really play that ball properly. Lauatiti gets it away to Furner. Furner did well to come inside and stay within the field of play. The touchline was very close to him. It's with Maguire and McDonald. McDonald muscles it over the halfway line again for Leeds and slips the pass to Diskin, who in turn gives it to Maguire. And Maguire gives it to Lauatiti. And Lauatiti offloads to Burrow. And here is Furner. This is promising for Leeds. Maguire over the shoulder. Back it goes to Lauatiti. Lauatiti for Leeds.
What a try! You chance your arm. You try to give it there. They want to see if there's any obstruction.
First try for Lauatiti. Leeds think, since his big money arrival in this country from the NRL in Australia and the New Zealand Warriors.
Certainly no touch in it. Diskin was going for the football. It was kicked up by the fullback Michael Withers. Flicked away
back by Senior.
Yes, it was. And a simple run to the line. But Lauatiti, he was involved earlier with a wonderful little offload. They've opened up, he says. I'm taking the 4.
And he's going to get the 4.
Of course he is.
The try for Leeds, and delirium on the terraces amongst the Rhino supporters. Ali Lauatiti Lauatiti, the New Zealand international, and Brian Noble with work to do again at half-time for the champions. And Lauatiti with the try, right on the bell.
It deserved 4 points though. This is the 4th pass. This will be the 5th one here. Oh, it was superb, wasn't it? That's 6. Look at the pass from Lauatiti. 7. Then that's 8. Not the best one here as it comes through. You can put that down as 9. Round it all up with 10. It gets him 4. TRY. They're buzzing. They're confident. They're scoring tries. The Bulls, they look beaten. You're right, Eddie. Brian Noble has got one heck of a job.
Kevin Sinfield has missed the conversion. So it's only 18-2, but Lauatiti with the try, his last, was for the New Zealand Warriors against Manly in March. Here he is on the Super League stage, and Ali Lauatiti, his try makes it 18-2, and Brian Noble stern of face, and no doubt will have words to say to his charges. But what a first half for the Rhinos. Magnificent play from them. They have run in 3 tries. The Bradford Bulls, frankly, haven't threatened the line. And Leeds, they come off in a group. They travel in a group, they walk off in a group, they play as a team, and this was a truly memorable Leeds Rhinos try, scored by Ali Lauatiti. 18-2 at the break.
Reasons to watch Sky Sports next weekend. New Zealand, England. Galanio's new look world champions face a huge challenge in the House of Pain. South Africa, Ireland. The Six Nations runners-up start their campaign against the Springboks. Argentina, Wales. Can the Welsh Dragons blunt the Pumas' claws? And Australia, Scotland. The Scots face the most daunting task of all against the mighty Wallabies. 4 rugby internationals in association with Zurich next weekend, live on Sky Sports.
How does your business measure up? In the colour printing department. Our printers deliver print that's fast, reliable, and able to multitask many shapes and sizes. Oki's new C5000 series. To get more out of your business printing, ask Oki.
You got me. I was sneaking into the country.
Where are you from?
Antigua. So, where are you from?
Hong Kong.
Where are you from?
Hong Kong. Check, please.
No, we'll go Dutch.
Panasonic Viera flat panel television with integrated digital tuner to access Freeview services. Experience a new visual era. Panasonic, ideas for life.
Most calls you make as a business are within your local region. Choose the 2 area codes you use most, and O2 will give you 40% of all calls to them. See business differently. Call 0800 781 0202.
By offsetting, you'll save on your mortgage and could pay it off early. Visit if.com for details. Intelligent finance.
Get down to business with Oki's new range of mono and colour printers. Ask Oki.
Don't forget that in the morning we have our next offering from the Australian NRL as the Brisbane Broncos take on the Cronulla Sharks. It's a 10 o'clock start on Sky Sports 2. And then next weekend we have more from the Tetley Super League. We'll see Leeds again, this time at home at Headingley against Widnes. Friday at 7:30 Sky Sports 1. And next Saturday, note the slightly earlier start. We're with you at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 4 o'clock start on Sky Sports 1 for Warrington against London. Massive crowd, Super League record crowd at Odsal, they're thinking. And they're watching a Leeds Rhinos performance that is pure vintage. 18-2 they lead. Needless to say, Brian Noble, the Bradford Bulls coach, is not terribly impressed with what he's seen in the first half. And this is the second week in a row that he's had to make a big speech during half-time. Last week at St Helens, they were 24-6 down at one stage. They fought back in the second half, but Brian Noble, by the looks of things, is ripping into his players just now. He wants more effort. Tony Smith, on the other hand, what a first half he has produced here for the Rhinos. He knows, I think, if they win here, it will be a major, major step towards winning the league leaders trophy come the end of the year. Bradford champions, they are not champions of this league for nothing, but you can't keep giving teams like the Leeds Rhinos, like St Helens, 18 and 16 point leads at half-time and coming back with any hope of a win. They managed it last week, but St Helens, they've played week after week after week, and they've had the Challenge Cup and the final and all that, so there's a little bit of fatigue maybe in the Nosey Road camp. Not the Rhinos, and they're on top of their form, Sean McRae.
Yeah, Leeds are playing exceptionally well, Eddie. They've had much better field position. They've had more possessions than Bradford. And I think consequently that's really introduced a fatigue factor to Bradford. They're a big side. And if you can starve them of possession for periods of time, then they need a lot longer to recover. And that's just a simple fact of life. Leeds, however, they're playing very smart rugby league. They're not really trying to take them on physically. They're prepared to shift the ball around. Their little men are making incisive runs, and they're kicking very well. And Bradford haven't really been able to respond to that in the first half.
It's remarkable, really, when you consider that Ryan Bailey was carried off injured in the very first tackle of the match, their prop forward, and then Chris McKenna went off with an arm injury to be replaced by Willie Poaching. It was disruption for Leeds in the first 8 minutes.
Well, it goes against the script of what you really want to do as a coach. You've got it in your own mind about when you're going to replace players, and obviously got a bit of a buffer zone there for injury and players that perhaps aren't performing quite as well on the day. But I don't think anything is ever written about the first play of the game, and certainly replace an outside back with a quality player in Chris McKenna, and Willie Poaching, probably an unfamiliar role, yet he's handled it exceptionally well. And that's what you ask people to do. They step up to the plate and say, there you are, there's your chance, you take it.
Well, I'm just scratching my head, Steve-O, to try and remember a Bradford Bulls attack that really threatened the Leeds line. I don't think we had one, did we?
Well, we certainly had. There was the run from dummy half from Leon Price, which we'll see in a few moments' time. But really, Leeds have taken full control of this. Now, we often say, the Bulls, they have to be the bullies, haven't they? But you can only do that with the forwards, and they didn't have the ability. This was a run from Leon Price. He went off after this. I cannot believe that the referee pulled that up. He awarded a penalty to Bradford. You can see there that Paul Deakin was on his way to the line. And this is a break from Richie Mathers. What a sensation he has been. Great player, Sean.
Yes, he is. He's very, very enthusiastic, very good on his feet, great pace. And, of course, those sort of players are very hard to deal with. And he's young and he's vibrant and he wants to be there. And he's obviously been coached very well by Tony.
Now, OK, you need a little bit of luck, but Reardon should have taken that on the full. It bounced all over. The video referee said that Sinfield, who took the ball to feed the senior, was putting everybody onside. But this was a sin. Head and feed? No, it just should not happen. And it did. And from it, they got the try. He's strong out wide.
Well, that's what I was saying about Willie. You know, he comes on and he often makes an impact, and that sort of thing there is, okay, you might argue poor defence, but it was a great opportunity to try, and it was power.
The build-up to this was absolutely superb. 10 passes in all. Lautiti, a little offload. Burrows, he's done a lot of damage, so has Ferner running out wide. Okay, a little bit of luck. Senior kicked the ball back. Lautiti gets his first try in Leeds colours, and fully deserved. As I mentioned before, the Bradford Bulls, they've got to get over the advantage line. They have the ability out wide. We've seen quite a few inroads there running through. Maybe Robbie Paul, a little bit more work from the dummy half position, but they've got to smarten themselves up both in attack, and they've got to do some hard work and make sure their defence is solid.
Let's go down to Phil Clark on the sideline. Been very impressed, Phil, with Andrew Duneman in the first half, and another big question mark against Paul Deakin. Now, he came back in the second half against Sean Long last week. He's got to muscle up again in this second 40.
Yes, he has, and I think so of his teammates. I thought it was a pretty impressive opening, firstly, by the Bradford side, but, you know, the defence from the Leeds outfit was outstanding, and early on, they managed to put in some big hits, firstly on Paul Johnson, sort of dominated the defence. That gives a lift to such a teammate. There's Danny Maguire coming up with a chase and a tackle, so it's not just the attack that he wants to put on the side of the game. And then Duneman was prepared to take on the defensive line, half breaking the line and quick play the balls the back of that. Marcus Pye got them out of trouble time and time again with his runs from dummy half, and it was a collective effort, really, and a very impressive one there. So maybe Lady Luck just a little bit going Leeds' way, but that's important, and Leeds have ridden the luck and gone with it to a substantial half-time lead. But Bradford, you don't become world champions at anything unless you can handle adversity. They've got it right now.
They have for the second week running. Remember last week they came back, they got within 5 points of St Helens. A lot of people said if it went on another 5 minutes, Bradford might have won the match. We shall see here. Leeds laughing all the way to the bank at the moment, and one of them might be taking home the watch as man of the match. That's the decision that Andy Wilson and other members of the Rugby League media have got to make, and they will be making their choice with 5 minutes of the game remaining. Well, Bradford fans have rolled up in their numbers. We believe there's a Super League record crowd here for the weekly rounds, i.e. anything outside of Old Trafford. But at the moment, it's Leeds who have taken the game to the Bulls. The Rhinos on the rampage. They lead by 18 points to 2.
In an all-new Sky One series, we bring you the very worst of everything.
Oh, it's extremely dangerous. People die every day.
Continuing with the very worst jobs in the world. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock, Sky One Sunday.
It's amazing what can happen when you bring objects of such quality together. The beautifully built Ford Focus C-Max. Experience this quality by taking a test drive.
How does your business measure up? In the colour printing department. Our printers deliver print that's fast, reliable, and able to multitask many shapes and sizes. Oki's new C5000 series. To get more out of your business printing, ask Oki.
Pop a can of Pringles and win a visit from a star footballer like Ruud van Nistelrooy, Fabian Barthez, Alessandro Del Piero, or England's Wayne Rooney. Win a visit from a star footballer with Pringles.
At Curry's, with so much football going on, we're going for it big time. Ready, David?
I think I know what's coming.
We've so many savings, and some are literally huge, like this Philips 42-inch plasma TV. with a DVD recorder and a Freeview digital receiver, all for £2,799, saving you over £600.
It's easy for Curry's.
Of course it is, David.
A little modesty, £15. A pedigree coat, 10. Something fancy, £30. Something sweet, 80 pence. Paint job, peace, passion, pride. England United. Priceless.
There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Proud sponsor of UEFA Euro 2004.
Oakey's new C5000 series of colour printers for business from only £587. Ask Oakey.
This is the life we chose, the life we lead. There is only one guarantee. None of us will see heaven.
Tom Hanks, Paul Newman, Jude Law. Road to Perdition, tonight at 8 and 9 on Sky Movies.
Well, there's live boxing coming up in the early hours of Sunday morning, live from the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. It's Oscar De La Hoya versus Felix Sturm, fighting for the WBO World Middleweight title, plus Bernard Hopkins against Robert Allen for the WBC, WBA and IBF World Middleweight titles. It all starts from 2 a.m, live only on Sky Box Office. For more information, call 08705 800 888. Here we are at Odsal for the second half of the Tetley's Super League battle between Bradford and Leeds. And Leeds, as they come out for the second 40, leading by 18 points to 2. Fantastic crowd, as we've said, all night inside Odsal for this match. Leeds have only lost to St Helens this year, once in the Cup and once in the Super League. They lost 56-10 against St Helens at the end of April. A nagging doubt in their mind after that? Well, no, not according to what we've seen here this evening so far. In tip-top form, Leeds Rhinos. It's going to be Bradford who will get us underway again. Start of this second 40, and Paul Deacon with the deep kick-off underneath it. Andrew Duneman, who pouches it cleanly. Logan Swan in there with the tackle. And here is Diskin, and now it's MacDonald.
Well, much better defence by the Bulls, but they certainly needed it. We saw nothing from Vangenaar. Went off early. Peacock, Fielden. These are the men over the past 2 years that really have set this stadium alight, but they are very, very quiet indeed. And you could see quite clearly Brian Noble far from impressed.
What do you think he pulled down off the back of the dressing room door and threw on the floor? The team sheet, and saying, listen, we'll be tossing this in the bin next week?
Well, it could be that, or it could be the game plan, because it certainly went out the window. I mentioned at half-time that the Bradford side, you've got to be dominant. They are bulls and they're bullies, and if they can get away with it, they will control the game. But they are not getting over the advantage line. We saw so many times how easy it was for Leeds to do that. So when it came to that final kick, they were forcing Bradford back all the time, and now they've lost possession.
Yes, Robbie Paul had the ball stolen from him. It was Diskin who was hunting him down. And so here now come Leeds in the shape of Danny Maguire.
Safety first, that's all the Rhinos have to do at 18-2.
This is MacDonald.
They know it's Bradford. They've got to play expansive football, trying to keep the ball alive. And when you play catch-up football, you can come up with even more errors.
Sinfield to Poaching, and here is Richie Mathers. Mathers almost through again. It was a desperate tackle needed by Jamie Peacock, helped out by Langley. Burrow to Maguire. Maguire pops it up to Ferner. David Ferner, even though he is 33 years of age, such an important cog in this Rhinos machine. Duneman, and Duneman with a kick to the corner. Another tester for Vainicolo, claims it easily, but there are 3 Leeds Rhinos jerseys around him. Calderwood, Poaching, Sinfield, nowhere for the big man to go. This is Harpy now. Again, 3 men in the tackle. They're hunting the ball carrier Leeds. It's working to perfection so far for Tony Smith. Here is Paul Johnson. Again, they can't get any progress upfield.
They're out-muscling them. And this is very, very solid defence. Getting back to that point that I've just mentioned. Look, Bradford. They can't get anywhere near the halfway line.
That's the last tackle. They've only made 28 metres. The kick from Deacon is going to be so important here.
40-20, give him time.
And he lashes it down the middle, but Mathers is underneath it for Leeds, and he will counter immediately.
Poor kick. The last thing you want to be doing is getting it right down the throat of this fella, Richie Mathers. We saw a couple of occasions in that first half, the ability of the man.
And look at the ability of Poaching to slip the net every now and again. He gets Leeds over the halfway line on the second tackle. Rob Burrow is there. He gives it to McDonald. McDonald, 6'7", and he used that frame to the full for Lauatiiti's try. Good tackle there by Langley, working hard round the ruck, and Burrow has lost it.
Well, that was a good position. He knew it. It's really would have been a kick into the corner. Applied that pressure. Certainly wasn't dragged away from Langley. And it was good work. Nice to see the first marker working overtime. Now then, can they make sure that the ball goes in? Remember, in the first half, Bradford lost a head and feet. A rarity indeed.
This time the ball goes in sufficiently on the angle for Bradford to get the possession, and Bradford will try and launch another attack. Francis Cummins is not involved in this match, but he's on the side with Bill.
Franny, this is a fantastic position for the Rhinos to be in, but they can't afford to take their eye off the ball just at this stage.
In Bradford have shown in the past, not only against us, but they showed last week that they're a great side and they score against anyone. But it's a matter of doing the little things now and not giving too much away.
Where is the biggest threat going to come from?
Well, I think that's every position. I think, as everyone knows, Bradford like the roll on, but you've got people like Paul Deacon, Robbie Paul, who can play off the back of these big fellas. I think it's just a matter of our fellas to stand up now and just stick to the plan, just stick to everything that they've trained for, and hopefully they'll come up with a win.
Thanks, Franny.
Richard Mathers, he had Vainicolo breathing down his neck, and he just side foots this, not over the dead ball line, but out, and it's going to be scrum, head and feed. Mind you, maybe he should have put it over the dead ball line, because then he would have had a dropout and it would have been defending on the halfway line rather than this 10 metres away.
Stick your head in the scrum.
Penalty because David Ferner was out of the scrum far too early.
They'll take the tap, they have to, they need tries.
And it's Robbie Paul, and this is Johnson.
Far too flat there. Johnson, for one moment, before Paul offloaded it, was actually standing in front. They've got to get back to basics.
Reardon tried to get through, but Ferner wouldn't be denied. Back it goes from Paul to Deacon, and Deacon finds Peacock. He gets away from Poaching for once, Jamie Peacock.
Much better, that's what's needed. A lot more vim and vigour.
Robbie Paul from dummy half, trying to spin his way over the line, but Diskin was waiting for him with Lauatiiti. On the half volley, brilliantly picked up. Pratt finds Vainicolo, the big man's in!
What a try! Only Vainicolo could have scored that.
It was sheer power. He's not giving it. He wants to check the grounding, but it looked as though Vainicolo had taken 2 or 3 Rhinos with him over the line.
Nothing wrong with this whatsoever. Sheer weight and strength, full control. Takes 3 men with him. This is TRY, little doubt in my mind, that is full control. The arm wrapped around the ball, up it comes TRY, the Bulls are back in business.
Just what they needed start of this second half. Just what he wanted as well, Brian Noble. Leslie Vainicolo, 15 tries now in Super League. He's level with Danny Maguire.
How on earth did Deakin pick that up? Pratt's offload was good on the angle. I don't think there'd been any other player in Super League that could have scored this try other than the big fella. Volcano, bang, bang, 4 points. And Pratt is relieved. And it all came about from that lovely little kick through from Pratt into the corner where Mathers had to kick the football away. It gave them the second set of 6, and they've come up with a vital score.
And as you saw, he enjoys scoring tries against the Rhinos, and Deakin has added the extras. Is that the signal for the Bradford fight back? 18 points to 8, Bradford trail. But Vainicolo, who hasn't scored for 2, has come up with an absolute priceless try here.
Sheer strength. He's been the man. He was the only person on the Bradford side in the first stanza that was threatening anything on this Leeds defence. Hasn't he come on in leaps and bounds since he arrived? He was a little bit raw when he first came to Bradford, but hard work and dedication has seen Vainicolo turn into one of the best wingers in the world.
Ryan Bailey has come back on for the Leeds Rhinos. That's a huge boost for them. And Sean McRae, is this the moment that Bradford bounce back and show true championship quality?
Well, it certainly gives you a lot of confidence. It was important for them to come out and score first. And I think one thing Brian Noble may have mentioned at half-time was to make sure that they complete some sets. And, of course, they just haven't now. But
they haven't, because they've been pinged for a forward pass here.
I think he'll want them to finish better and turn the ball over on their terms. And I think in the first half, they turned the ball over a lot on Leeds' terms. And I think he'll be very disappointed with that. And I think if they can get that right, they can certainly put more pressure on the Leeds side. I think Tony Smith would have been very happy at half-time, and I think he'd be saying pretty much of the same. Just go out there and play the next 40 minutes as you played the first 40, and, you know, you've got a great chance of coming up with a victory.
Yes, you get the feeling here, Steve-O, this is a critical stage of this match.
Well, it was a dodgy forward pass, but it often happens. It's sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong, and you just need that little bit of luck. We saw in the first half, the first try to Leeds, where they allowed the ball to bounce, and there you see the crowd saying, well, that was forward, just as the other one was when Peacock was going through.
Burrow and wide to Maguire, and back it goes to Senior. He gets away from Johnson, but the reinforcements are there. And Senior struggles to his feet, plays the ball to Rob Burrow. Back it comes to Mathers. Mathers finds Duneman. Duneman then to Furner. Furner wide to Calderwood. That was forward.
Ironic cheer from this vast crowd here at Opsal Stadium.
Touch judges and referees are under so much pressure, aren't they? From this crowd here on the side, as they are at Leeds, as they are at Warrington.
No more so than the players and the coaches. When you see like that, but
a great screamer forward, and well, I mean that was. But sometimes instinctively the touch judge might shout into his mic, forward.
Well, you're going to get 50-50, aren't you? Because both sides are using this very, very flat attack. In fact, on many occasions, Bradford have done it so often that the man that they're supposed to pass to has gone in front.
More injury news, Bill.
Well, Eddie, just to confirm, it doesn't look as though Leon Price is going to be able to return with that rib injury. And just a worrying moment, just a second ago for the Bradford Bulls, when Carl Pratt emerged from a tackle just flinching, and it looked like his left shoulder was troubling him. And Pratt has had a history of shoulder problems, but thankfully he waved the physio away, and it looks as though he can continue.
Diskin got to Deakin a little late. Here is Marcus Bai for the Rhinos. Oh, he's almost through. Langley stuck to his ankles.
Good job he did as well. He's got the speed as Marcus Bai, but that was a much better kick. You could see there that he dissected the winger and the full back. They'd failed to do that on the previous 3.
This is Mathers from dummy half. Good scampering run from him. Tackled by Robbie Paul. MacDonald, again this cry of forward from this crowd.
Break the 10.
Well, it's a gamble the coaches seem prepared to do all the time. We have Sean McRae here. You use it quite a lot, Sean, don't you?
On the line.
Well, I think, flatline attack has become a very, very big part of the modern game, Steve-O, and, it's something that really is encouraged. The players enjoy playing it. The ball players like the idea of being able to go to the line, and they know they've got runners inside and outside. The pressure, of course, it puts on is that it enables a defensive player to probably get a little closer to you. So very, very often you're open up to a pretty good tackle, and in some cases a gang tackle.
Here's Vainikolo, the man most likely, and Leeds know it. Bailey and Vainikolo tangling there. Robbie Paul to Jamie Peacock.
Well, that should have set the pattern now. Vainikolo's doing all the work as though he's a forward.
That's a good run from Robbie Paul.
Much quicker play the ball, that's what they need.
The Bradford Bulls crowd is up for this now. Peacock gets the ball away, it bounces off the chest, and Bailey will bring it back for Leeds. Everyone stopped there waiting for referee Carl Kirkpatrick's whistle.
Thought it was a knock on, and he went back, he lost control of it.
This is Willie Poaching for Leeds.
He's done his bit since he came off the bench. Composure. Tony Smith will have got the message out now. Okay, we've held on to this Bradford onslaught over the past couple of minutes. Just getting to a good field position, and they do that. That's been the problem for the Bulls. They haven't been able to stop the Rhinos from getting into that great field position, so when the kick comes, they're turning Bradford well and truly around.
This is Burrow. Typical little run from Rob Burrow. Oh, he just lost his footing. Poaching on then to Sinfield. Sinfield back out the door to Calderwood, and Calderwood grounded by the tackle from Deacon. Mathers chiming into the line at every opportunity, gets it to Sinfield, his skipper. Wide it goes to Duneman, and Duneman will come up the middle, and this is Poaching, but he's giving it to Vanganar. What happened there?
Play on.
0.
Play on, Vanganar should have had that. Poaching whipped it out.
6 to go for Leeds.
Said it wasn't forward.
6 to go for Leeds. Diskin has it for them.
I'd go for 1.
Burrow, Duneman, he'll have 4! Andrew Duneman has been magnificent tonight, and that try crowns a wonderful performance from him.
He's been outstanding, Eddie, throughout this season. Remember, Tony Smith, he said that Danny Maguire and Rob Burrow, he would give them the opportunity, but this man has come back. This is the 6 to go here, but was it a knock-on from Poaching? He dragged that ball away. I think that could have been classified as a knock-on. We'll see it. If Poaching's pulling that football out and it went forward, that has to be a knock-on. Either way, Lady Luck has gone with him, and you take nothing away from this guy, Andrew Duneman. As I said, Tony Smith allowed the 2 youngsters, Danny Maguire, Rob Burrow, to start the game. They went through a bit of a horror patch. They brought this man back. He has steadied the ship. He has been outstanding.
Tries home and away against Bradford this year. The Leeds Rhinos fans, they suffered and suffered all last year at the hands of the Bradford Bulls. They beat them at Headingley this year over Easter, and they're on the verge of a victory here at Odsall tonight. They've had only 2 wins on this ground, 1998 26-6, 2000 28-26 in the Super League weekly rounds, and this is a critical kick from Sinfield. And he measured it every inch of the way. 24-8. There's a strut about the Rhinos. They are playing with full confidence.
I think they got the rub of the green. Duneman sets it all up. Vanganar gets it. And to me, watch Poaching pull the ball away. And that is a knock-on. Quite clear. Very clear. They did not go to the screen to think about it. Gone for the short one.
And it's come up for them. And this is Parker. Logan Swan waits at dummy half. And now Radford to drive it over the 20-metre line. That's only the first tackle, so there's loads to go here for the Bulls. Deacon wide to Carl Pratt. Man on the overlap wide. This is Peacock. And Peacock takes them on himself. Reardon was waiting on the touchline. The pass never came. Peacock to his feet. Didn't like the attention from Senior. Pratt. Infield to Deacon. Deacon showed it to one. Gave it to Fielden.
That's better. Starting to bring people back on the angles, back on the inside. Lot more enthusiasm. It needs it as well. Dummy half deacon, maybe. They're going wide.
With Robbie Paul. He delayed the pass. They've got the man on the overlap this time. Kick from Carl Pratt. And Mathers just shuttles the ball dead. He never touched it, says the referee.
He didn't. He missed it. Brian Noble looks a bit confused. Mathers was going for it. Don't worry about that.
And here come Leeds with a quick tap.
They've just been too smart, haven't they, the Rhinos? There you see the quick tap on the 22. They're already over the halfway line, and they've still got plenty spare. Pratt pushes it through. He goes for it. He misses it. Again, you got to have that ounce of luck, Eddie.
It's all going for Leeds. That luck at the moment, but they are playing very, very well into the bargain. Here is Duneman, but Duneman again. Sinfield following up. That was forward to McDermott.
Great positioning by Carl Kirkpatrick as well.
Well, that would have been curtains for Bradford.
It would have been all over. But full credit to them. See there, McDermott. You talk about that flat pass. He was about a metre in front.
Just a few minutes ago, though, Pratt on the break. He had a man on the overlap wide, Phil Clark. Why didn't he pass the ball to him, do you think?
That's a lot easier on television than it is out there on the field, isn't it? He rewound his mind. He'd probably want to do the same again. I just think that you sense here on the sideline the increased intensity from both sides. Leeds desperate to just go further ahead and kill off any hopes of Bradford comeback. I also think Bradford really over the next 20 minutes or so are really going to test this Leeds side to see what they have, really whether they have got that championship quality to hang on in there. If you cast your mind back to last week's game when Bradford scored 5 tries, all 5 of those tries came when Bradford were within 10 metres of the St Helens line. They need to get that field position again, and at that stage they are a dangerous team to play against. So they're looking like a penalty or a goal line dropout, but they can't quite get one, and if Leeds can deny them that sort of field position, I think they're going to be safe.
Tell you what, there was a tackle then from Ryan Bailey over the top of the shoulder of Stuart Fielden. This is Marcus Bye. How Bailey didn't get penalised for this.
Well, he certainly made contact with the shoulder first, and that's how the official Carl Kirkpatrick saw it.
McDermott.
But again, with ease, they are applying the pressure because they know they didn't get over the advantage line. Bradford are very slow to move up. They're having the time of the life here of Leeds.
Diskin. Good ball back on the inside. Feather.
You can't afford to wait, not against a team like Leeds.
Burrow will attack the line again. Long pass to Sinfield. Took the gamble, it came off. Poaching. Great offload. And again forward. No. Well, that seemed to drift forward, but it's the last tackle here.
Got to be the kick.
Duneman. No. Yes. Oh, Withers has dropped it. And Bailey has it back. Bailey's got it back. 6 to go. A right mess. A right mess.
How on earth has he allowed that to continue on? Well, maybe the luck's changing. There's a swinging out from Bailey again.
And the referee has penalised Senior for having a word and now marches him back 10 metres.
Well, Tony Smith will be furious. The one thing that the Australian coach wants from any of his sides is the fact that you keep your composure. You're in charge of the game, and the last thing you want to do, that was the incident. Surely there would have been a penalty there. They weren't square, they came in from the side, and then pinched the ball at the play the ball mark.
Referee Mr. Kirkpatrick said he's not taking that rubbish off you, Keith Senior.
Well, that could change the game. They've got a convincing lead.
McDermott and Fielden again.
Well, this is one thing that Leeds don't want to do. It's been going on for a long, long time.
They insist, these two, they are good mates. But when it's Leeds against Bradford, they are the best of enemies. Barry McDermott and Stuart Fielden.
And you see Richard Mathers getting on and just patting McDermott on the head and saying, hey, come on, come on. We have this game, well and truly, in the back. There was no doubt about it. McDermott went straight in, right into it, and look, venom, look there. And now this is one thing we saw last night. St Helens lose the plot. Wigan control it. Wigan were laughing, giggling. Look at the scoreboard.
He's ticked them off, Barry McDermott and Stuart Fielden. Barry says that Stuart Fielding's one of the best young forwards in the business, and Barry McDermott, an experienced head, is not going to take a backward step, and neither's Vangenaar.
He's an experienced head, but he looks as though he wants to knock it off it.
Paul, good ball to Peacock. Peacock, he did nearly lose it. Well, this is a golden opportunity for Bradford. Can they make anything of it? It's with Carl Pratt. Here is Paul Deacon.
Not to it just in time, no.
Oh, a knock on.
Well, simple, basic rugby league football was needed there. And it is getting very nasty indeed. It's tasty. Al Kirkpatrick, the referee of the year, last year that is, of the season, couldn't get to it. Just bobbled on the ground. He's claiming that it did. This will be an interesting scrum. The official will keep an eye on this, or he should do.
Well, Andrew Duneman put it in the feet of Kevin Sinfield then.
Well, I think the front row on either side had a lot more to think about.
I think they did. Senior struggles to his feet.
Tony Smith has got the message out here. Come on, fellas. Run from dummy half. Nice position. We'll get them downfield and just irritate them yet again. And hasn't this fella done that?
Burrow to the halfway line for Leeds. Still time for Bradford, but Leeds will look to consolidate and look to push on here with Barry McDermott. Last tackle. Down the short side, Diskin, Senior. Senior stands, gives it away to Bye. Infield it goes to Maguire, crossfield kick. Now this is interesting. Leslie Vinacolo pouches it, but a great chase from Sinfield. Here's Withers.
Good play from both sides. Got themselves into a good position. Vinacolo certainly got it, but the chase was outstanding. If there's any man that's going to be a danger to Leeds, they know it's the man playing the football now, Leslie Vinacolo. He's done everything. He's done everything that's been asked of him as a winger, but he's been coming in field and working more than the forwards have.
This is Peacock.
If ever there was a time that likes of Jamie Peacock, Stuart Fielding and Joe Vangenaar really started ripping into the opposition, this is it.
Deacon with the kick, and it bobbles and bobbles its way to Richard Mathers. Have Leeds weathered the storm, Sean?
I think they have, Eddie. You've got to take your hat off to them. They've been very patient, they've been composed, they've been prepared to play their own way that, you know, Tony's obviously sent them out, Tony Smith, to play that game, and they've stood up to Bradford very, very well. And I think that, you know, with 16 minutes on the clock, I mean, there's still plenty of time to score points, but Leeds just don't show signs of fatigue. They don't show signs of wilting. I agree with Clarkey, the intensity has lifted in the last, for this second half, and
another questionable pass out of the back door, but Calderwood's kick finds its way to touch.
They've been adventurous though, haven't they, Sean?
Well, I think they've been a little more prepared to offload the ball and to move a bit more laterally. I think Bradford have come out this second half, Steve-O, and decided we want to go through the line, and we'll go through, and they've made some very good yards from dummy half, and they've been up in the Leeds, near the Leeds red zone, and been very close to the try line, but they just haven't really been able to convert that pressure into points.
Has it surprised you the ease that Leeds have been able to get over the halfway line when it came to the kick? They've been turning Bradford round all night.
Well, there's one thing about this ground at Odsal, of course, it's not 100 metres long, so it sometimes can be deceptive because it's not a difficult ground to get out of your red zone and put pressure on. The only thing that has surprised me, I haven't seen any 40-20s, because you do often see them at this ground.
Well, Bradford are here inside the Leeds half now, and this is Anderson.
That's what's needed. Get right onto it. Will it be the bomb?
Well, Deacon is the man, and he puts it wide to Carl Pratt, and it goes further wide to Johnson, and further wide again to Reardon, and Reardon is in! Stuart Reardon for Bradford!
What an effort.
What a try from the man who won the Man of the Match trophy in the grand final last year. The England A international, Stuart Reardon, another lifeline for the Bulls.
Well, they went for the power play, anticipated the kick. That looked a bit dodgy as well. But how on earth did he get through there? Boy, he'd slide down a drain pipe, this fella. In and out. That's forward, I think, Johnson. But we've seen so many. And maybe just a touch of luck has gone Bradford's way. Marcus Bye, he got beaten. He really should have gone for the low tackle. But full credit to the Bulls. They went for that power play. Leeds anticipated the kick. You don't go high. That is a wonderful, wonderful try.
It is, because Reardon had the strength to hold off the challenge of one of the strongest players on the pitch, the Papua New Guinea international Marcus Pai. Deacon with an important kick, just short of the mark. 12 points to 24, 2 converted tries. Stuart Reardon. It was very close here, wasn't it, last September? Tony Smith has watched this match from behind the post on the right-hand side. Alongside him there is Matt Adamson, and they have been there from the start of the game. Phil Clark, is it a better view than yours?
Well, it depends. Mine's a lot more relaxed than their view, hasn't it? They've got 12 points, I suppose, supporting the thing, but I just saw the Bradford squad there really trying to lift themselves, and it's been difficult because up until this stage they probably have been the second best side, haven't they had, and they haven't had much luck go their way, but you want to see how often a try can really lead to another one, and you need a run like that from Anderson. I suppose what they want to do is gain 70-80 metres and put Leeds under pressure at the very least at the end of this set. Just in the Leeds squad, I just think it's quite a few weeks since I've seen Leeds play, but Matthew Diskin does seem to be one of the most improved players in the league, and his versatility, the things that he brings to his side now, far greater than even last season.
And I'm reminded that Matthew Diskin was actually missing when Leeds lost at St Helens, and he was harassing their Shantaine Harpy and forcing the error on the halfway line.
He's been the most consistent player, that is for sure, Matt Diskin. The one thing that the new coach Tony Smith has done with him in the past, Diskin used to lose his temper, lose the plot somewhat, and came up with silly penalties and errors. They seem to have got rid of that problem out of his game, and he concentrates, and boy, he does a fine job.
Big shove on at the scrum. Duneman feeds, it comes out with Duneman. He's halted on halfway by Lee Radford.
Well, I'd get myself into a position here, and Sinfield will go for the field goal, or maybe Duneman.
This is Maguire. Oh, he's lost it. Stolen.
Well, he's in a good position, the merry whistleblower.
Well, maybe they'll go for two, Steve, or never mind one.
Oh, I'm not so sure. Oh, they've been badly done to there. He's gone into the tackle. You can see that Withers was trying to grab the arm.
That's a huge call from Carl Kirkpatrick. It really is.
Well, there's been some, shall we say, unusual ones.
All over the weekend.
He'll say that they're more than just unusual.
Well, Michael Withers, I think he's been badly treated there, but it offers the opportunity here for Kevin Sinfield from 42 metres out.
He knows it too. He knows that
this could seal it.
Yeah, this penalty kick, instead of having to go for the one that I was screaming for and having all the forwards taking the pressure right down to the sticks. The skipper, Kevin Sinfield, fully aware how important the 2 points are. They'll just steady the ship, and
it will mean that Bradford have to score 3 times.
Yeah, and the heads will
work that out.
I think the heads will go down if he gets this. Been a better performance from the Bulls, but not sufficient. Been a controlled effort by the Rhinos tonight.
Big kick from Sinfield to maybe win a famous victory at Odsal. He's kicked it. 26-12. Bradford have to score 3 times in the last 10 minutes. And Leeds Rhinos fans are starting to celebrate the victory. They've only finished above Bradford once in 8 Super League years, that in 1998, when they made it to the inaugural grand final. This win, if win it is, will open up a 7-point gap between themselves and the Bulls, but it will open the door.
Well, I can't believe that.
For Hull FC.
I cannot believe what Bradford have just done. Why on earth did they not go for the short kick-off? They went for a bomb into the middle, where there was always going to be players running into the centre. Well, that's baffling me.
Here's Lauatiti looking for those famous offloads again. Burrow.
Not only that, Eddie, I mean, the last occasion that they did that, they actually got the ball back from the short kick. And they, well, turned it down, didn't want it.
Burrow, Duneman. And Duneman again almost on the half break. Inside the last 10 we are. And here is Sinfield, and there goes the midfield bomb off the outside of the boot. Harpy claims it, Poaching. Gets the tackle in. Withers to Vainicolo.
Just controlling defence now. That's all that's needed. Keep them in the position. Oh, a real mess up. No knock on, but as you can see, they lost about 10 metres. It's been a great effort by the Rhinos in defence. Yeah, they've really been up for this. They fully deserve it. It would have been an injustice if Bradford had come back and won this game, and he knows it, Tony Smith.
He's engineered a great win, hasn't he, here?
Yep. It's the composure and their defence and their ability to sort of help each other. If you work as a unit and as a team, you share the hard work, you can get through. Oh, that's play on.
It is. Duneman has it back for Leeds. They will enjoy their weekend.
You're trying to offload to nobody. The big fella, Paul Anderson. This will be up the jumper time here. And maybe I might get my wish.
Great offload from Poaching. Here's Burrow. Burrow gets to his feet. Diskin. Drop goal from Diskin. Missed it. He was only about 8-9 metres out and he missed that. Sliced it wide.
Well, they went early in the tackle count. I knew they'd go for it. I would have had a smile on my face if they'd gone over, but maybe Tony Smith sent out the message. Surprised me they went so early.
Well, Leeds clear leaders if they win here. St Helens are behind them in second. Bradford, they've lost a bit of ground with this, and Sean McRae, you must be licking your lips for Hull.
Well, of course, we've got a very tough road trip to the jungle tomorrow, but if we can come up with 2 points there, Eddie, then of course we can go above Bradford on the table. So
what incentive for your boys?
Oh, it's a terrific incentive, great motivation for us, and one I'm sure we'll take up.
Forward pass again.
But he's been outstanding, you know, Andrew Duneman. If ever there was an architect in blue and gold, it was Sinfield's pass that was brought back by the official, but Andrew Duneman. And he took it on the chin, you know, when he wasn't starting early in the season. But the faith of Tony Smith said he needed somebody out there with a bit more experience, settle things down. He certainly has done that. He's been the key to them getting these vital 2 points. Remember, it was Bradford. They were the bogey side for the Rhinos last year.
They were. Anderson on halfway. Robbie Paul picks up one-handed. Goes wide to Carl Pratt, and the kick, an invitation for Reardon to chase. And Reardon's picked it up. Oh, if that pass had come in field and had stuck in the arms of Johnson, what a try that would have been. Reardon, Marcus Bai was allowing it to go to the sideline. Watch. Reardon thought, I'll have it.
He didn't show any urgency at all, did he? That could have been a try. Richard Mathers was there. I must say, Phil, when they do get it out wide, this fella can score the tries. He's a talented player, but it would be wrong to think that Leeds would be denied these vital 2 points.
Yes, I think it would, but I think it's also wrong to think that Bradford is just the size that try and bash their way through their opponents. They've got tremendous amount of skill. We saw that for the previous try. Didn't quite come up with it then, but they're a pretty skillful side when they move around the ball around. They haven't had the luck today, and that's what really sport's all about. Sometimes it goes for you, and it's gone in Leeds' favour, who thoroughly deserved it, really, the way they played, and probably just a form side really at the moment in the Super League competition.
They are, but there need be no real emergency bells sounding for the Bradford Bulls. Remember, 12 months ago, Bradford lost 3 in a row at Odsal, and they went on to claim the lot. There's a long way to go yet, but this is a significant night for Leeds. No doubt about that. Vainicolo picking up pace. Through Maguire, almost. Stuck to his guns well, the young man. Reardon. Burrow gets to him.
Leslie Vainicolo doesn't deserve to be on the losing side. Not with the effort that he's applied, and there's been some nice touches from Carl Pratt. But generally speaking, it's been a disjointed effort from the Bulls. We've seen them play better.
And Duneman has bossed the scrum half position over Paul Deakin, no doubt about that. Here is Logan Swan. Back it goes to Robbie Paul. He gets away from Willie Poaching. And he's just going down a blind alley.
Nowhere to go, no one helping him.
Logan Swan again. Vangenaar.
It's been good controlled aggression, you know, by the Leeds side, especially in the forwards.
Pratt, well, that was a woeful kick, I'm afraid.
Shocking. Not that Leeds will mind. Great to see this fella, you know, Richard Mathers is puts under a lot of pressure, but when they need it, he'll go into dummy half, just scoot away and say, thank you very much indeed. I'll slow things down. He's a great player.
He is. Let's find out who's won the Tissot Watches Man of the Match. Andy Wilson.
Really tricky one tonight, Eddie. One bloke who deserves an award, I think, tonight is Matthew Diskin. He's played the whole match in hooker and in the second row as Leeds attack, and he's grafted all night, but in the end the crucial contributions to the win have come from Leeds' experienced overseas players. David Furner early on, Andrew Doonerman had a great game, as Steve-O said, but we've given the award to Willie Poaching. Wonderful try early on, also a one-on-one ball steal for Andrew Doonerman's try later on, and some lovely offloads as well. Great game at centre tonight, Willie Poaching.
And he was thrust into the action very early in the centre when Chris McKenna was taken off with an arm injury. So Willie Poaching is the man of the match. He gets the watch. Vainicolo.
Let him play, boys. Let him play. Don't get involved, Fontaine.
Fontaine Harpy.
It's been another impressive performance in the first and second markers. You know, they've been keen. Diskin leading the way.
Every time Bradford have had a man in possession, there have been three Leeds Rhinos hunting him down. It's been a totally enthusiastic performance. And a performance, actually, that is meriting their place at the top of the Tetley Super League tonight. And they're opening up a big gap. Pratt. Swan. Swan releases the ball. It's picked up by Carl Pratt, who will go down the touchline. He'll pass it to Vainicolo, and this time they stood up to him.
It's on the last. They've got to go for the power play, surely. Oh, they've sent it to nobody. Still send it to nobody. And that just about sums up Bradford. And he knows it too.
But he was looking forward to this match so much, Brian Noble. I'm sure in a peculiar sort of way, he, like the rest of you watching at home, will have enjoyed it, but he will not have enjoyed the defeat. It's 2 in a row now for Bradford. Beaten at Saints last week, beaten here at home by their closest rivals. And that will sting.
We often talk about St. Helens, you know, with Mickey Hyam and Cunningham as a combination. But the two out there that's also impressed, we've already mentioned Matt Diskin in a dummy half. But the ability when Tony Smith brings off Rob Burrow into that position, zip is all over the place.
There's a kick down the line looking for Marcus Barr. He finds the touchline, that is all. Well, how significant will this win be at the ground where Leeds won the first 2 of 3 league titles way back in the 60s? They haven't been crowned as champions since 1972. Is this going to be their year via the grand final at Old Trafford come October the 16th?
Well, they certainly look like a side that's composed.
So you have to play well at the end of the season as well as the midpoint.
But the thing is, Eddie, that so often in the past, you know, Leeds have offered a false dawn. But the composure, the way that they've cut out those silly antics that got them bad field position, gave the opposition the chance to get through, and it's another lost ball. It has not been Bradford's night. It has Leeds, and they fully deserve this. This has been a wonderful performance, a controlled, aggressive performance.
Hats off to Tony Smith, the Leeds Rhinos coach. They have not won here very often in the past. They've only finished above the Bulls once in 8 Super League years, but this maybe is a significant night for them. And they keep this wonderful run going. Only St. Helens, once in the Cup and once in the Super League, have toppled Leeds Rhinos this year. And this victory is a long time coming. 4 years since they last won at Oxford against the Bulls. They've only won twice in the Super League era before tonight. We'll make that 3 now in summer. And Kevin Sinfield has led his team magnificently. I thought Andrew Doonerman was a real contender for man of the match, but the British media have chosen Willie Poaching to take the prize home. But the most important thing for Tony Smith is that he's got two priceless points at the top of the Super League table, and they've opened up a significant gap over the Bradford Bulls. There's the man of the match with Bill.
Willie, congratulations. We were just discussing when you lasted 72 minutes non-stop.
Been a while ago, that long I can't remember, but it was nice. Bit unusual playing out in the centres. We lost a couple early on, so it was a bit makeshift there, but yeah, I enjoyed it playing out a bit wide, and you know, to get the result is special for us, especially coming down here. We don't really talk much about last year, but you know, like it's a bit of a hoot, a bit of a monkey off our back now, and hopefully, you know, we just keep kicking on.
And what a great weekend. I mean, Wigan beating Saints, you beating the Bulls. It looks good for you at the top of the table. Yeah, we sort of worry about ourselves. We can't really rely on other people's results, so we just got to try and win our games week in and week out. You know, and like Dave Furness said during the week, these are the special ones. These are the ones that mean a lot, you know, and everyone inside is buzzing now. You know, like I said before, we just got to kick on. Willie, well done. Cheers. Thanks, Tuso. Thanks a lot. Tony Smith, Rhinos coach. Quiet satisfaction after that?
Yeah, pleasing result. Good performance. Thought we could have scored a few more points.
And as far as, I mean, Willie poaching summed it up really, because you lost Ryan Bailey first minute, then Chris McKenna. At that point you must have thought, uh-oh, this might not be our night.
Oh no, we've got some pretty determined boys there. And I think that showed, you know, showed in their defence. To not allow the Bulls in for a try in the first half shows a fair bit of commitment, and I think they showed that right through to the end. And as I said, you know, no disrespect to Bradford, they're a hard team to break down, but I think we could have scored a few more tries. There was a few forward passes there that, you know, if we had have executed a bit better, it could have been better.
Thanks, Tony.
Hemisphere.